Hello, everybody, and I'm Justin Perez, and welcome back to the Air Raid Saturdays college football channel here on YouTube. And today I'm just going to be briefly doing this short video discussing my thoughts of the recent news regarding the University of Colorado's football program. So, for any of you that aren't aware, the University of Colorado has just announced, I believe it was yesterday, I believe it was last night, that they will be going back to the Big 12 conference after the 2023 college football season is complete. Colorado, they are currently in the Pac-12. They've been in the Pac-12 conference since the start of the 2011 season, I believe. And, I'm going to be going through their track record in a bit in the Pac-12, but it just has not been good. Colorado, in my opinion, listen, I started being a college football fan in 2011, which was right around the time when Colorado was making the jump from the Big 12 to the Pac-12 conference. However, it always seemed to me that Colorado just being placed in the Pac-12 conference was weird. I mean, it geographically makes sense. Colorado is one of the more versatile programs when it comes to conference placement and geography. But it just never felt right because growing up as a kid, I always knew that Colorado was a part of the Big 12 conference. I always saw a couple of their games on TV when they were playing Oklahoma in Texas when I was a kid. I saw them play a very few times before they moved to the Pac-12. And, it just felt right because Colorado sort of was in line with the other Big 12 schools based on location. And I'm a big guy on conference alignments being dedicated to a specific location. And although Colorado made sense in the Pac-12, their track record in football just was not super great. And I'm just going to go through their 10 years both in the Big 12 and in the Pac-12. So I'm going to be going through their original Big 12 tenure first. They joined the Big 7 conference originally in 1948. And the conference was renamed a couple times with the addition of several schools. Obviously, the conference was named the Big 6 Conference before Colorado joined the league in 1948. When they joined the league, they renamed the conference to the Big 7. And then in 1960, another school was added to the league, so the conference was renamed to the Big 8. And then in 1996, 4 new schools were added to the league. I believe all of them came from the Southwest Conference, which is now dissolved. So 4 brand new teams came in to the league in 1996, so they renamed the league to the Big 12. For some reason, I looked on collegefootballreference.com and I looked, through Wikipedia and everywhere. And for some reason, the Big 12 conference is not listed or related to the Big 7 and the Big 8 conferences. But if you look at the schools that were there from the time Colorado joined in 1948 when the league was called the Big 7 until Colorado's jump to the Pac-12 in 2010, all the schools that were there when Colorado first joined in 1948 were there in 2010. So that's why I just combined those 3 different conferences together and just called it their original Big 12 tenure. Now, from 1948 to 2010, Colorado had a record of 390 wins, 304 losses, and 14 ties. This was when ties was still a thing in college football. And in their conference record, they went 232, 207, and 8. So there's 8 ties during the Big 12 conference games. But they won 232 of their conference games and 390 overall. Through that time from 1948 to 2010, they made 27 bowl games and they have a 12-15 record in those 27 bowl games. They managed to pull out 6 conference titles, and those conference titles came in 1961, 1976, 1989, 1990, 1991, and 2001. The 1976 conference title is shared with Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, and the 1991 Big 8 conference title is shared with Nebraska. They also were able to squeak in a controversial national championship game or national championship in 1990. That was the year where there was a controversy with the true national champion. So they basically split the national championship between Colorado and Georgia Tech, ironically. So there was a controversy, but they're still considered one of the national champions in 1990, along with Georgia Tech. So they have that on their resume. Also on the resume was that they were able to finish top 10 in the final AP poll in 8 different years. And those 8 years that they finished top 10 in the final AP polls were in 1961, 1971, 1989, 1990, 1994, 1995, 1996, and 2001. And in total, they had 17 placements in final Associated Press top 25 polls. So that's basically their entire existence from 1948 to 2010. But if you just take a look at their Big 12 era tenure from 1996 to 2010, they still have a winning record of 93 wins and 91 losses. However, they went 60-60 in Big 12 conference games. They managed to make 8 bowl games. They went 4-4 in those 8 bowl games. They have the 2001 Big 12 Conference Championship, and they had 2 top 10 finishes in the final Associated Press top 25 polls, and they have 3 placements in finalized top 25 polls in total. Now, there's a lot of stuff going on throughout their original Big 12 tenure. Like I said, I incorporate their entire history from 1948 to 2010, but if you only take into consideration the stuff that happened when the conference was named the Big 12 from 1996 to 2010, then take it that way. But overall, from 1948 to 2010, Colorado was a solid program, a national championship, multiple conference championships, multiple top 10 finishes, winning record in both conference play and overall. They had a lot of great teams, man, a lot of great success. But when they moved to the Pac-12 in 2011, that's when things started to change. Colorado, when they were in the Pac-12, they've just been a doormat in that conference for basically their entire existence. Going through their Pac-12 tenure from 2011 to 2022, they have a 48-94 record, so 48 wins and 94 losses in their Pac-12 tenure, including a conference record of just 27 wins and 79 losses. They've only played in 2 bowl games, both of those being losses in the Alamo Bowl. They only have 1 Pac-12 championship game appearance, which was in 2016. They have 0 Pac-12 conference championships. They've gone through 6 different head coaches from 2011 to 2022, and they've only been placed once in a final Associated Press top 25 poll, which is in 2016, and they've only had 1 placement in the final college football playoff top 25 poll, which also was in 2016. So 2016 was really the only year of success that the Colorado Buffaloes had in the Pac-12. That year they went 10-4. They lost to Washington in the Pac-12 championship game, and then they lost in the Alamo Bowl. I believe that was against Oregon, but I did not double check who they lost to in that Alamo Bowl. Other than that, they lost that game. In 2020, they went 4-2, and they made it to the Alamo Bowl again, but I don't think many people count that just because of the fact that obviously 2020 was the COVID year, and a lot of college football teams either canceled their seasons or they had their schedules extremely reduced, and Colorado was one of those teams that had their schedule extremely reduced as they were only able to play 6 games that season. They made it. They had 4 wins in those 6 games, which allowed them to get to the Alamo Bowl, but they lost that game again. So really, Colorado, they've just been bad in the Pac-12 ever since they moved into the Pac-12 back in 2011. Now they're gonna be in the Pac-12 conference for 1 more year during this upcoming 2023 season, and then before the start of the 2024 season, they will move back into the Big 12. Now, my thoughts about this move, after going through their history and all that, my thoughts about this move is that it's completely positive. I absolutely love this move by the University of Colorado, and to me, this is where they belong. Yes, the Pac-12, I'm used to that because, like I said, I started being a college football fan when they moved into the Pac-12, but it just feels right that they're back where they belong. It just feels like Colorado belongs in the Big 12 conference, and it feels like that should be the case until the end of time. They had a lot of success when they were in the Big 12 conference, and I believe that they will have success moving back to the Big 12, just because of the fact that Deion Sanders is now the head coach, and I'm a huge fan of what Deion Sanders has been able to do when he was the head coach at Jackson State, and then obviously this is his first year at Colorado, and I have a lot of faith in what Coach Prime is going to do at the University of Colorado. I really believe that he's going to instill a winning culture and a successful culture in a program that's been absolutely dormant and irrelevant for over the past decade. And I believe that this was the perfect time for Colorado to make the move to the Big 12 conference, because of the fact that the Pac-12, it's becoming more and more irrelevant, man. The Pac-12 conference, as a college football fan, I love the fact that there is a conference that's dedicated to the West Coast, to West Coast college football. But if you look at it, the Pac-12 conference is becoming more and more relevant. Recently, several months ago, its two biggest members, that being USC and UCLA, made the announcement that they will be attending the Big Ten conference. So they're making the move from the Pac-12 to the Big Ten, and I believe that move takes place starting next college football season. So obviously UCLA and USC, they're leaving the Pac-12 conference, which is a detrimental blow to that league, because obviously UCLA and USC are the two biggest members in that conference. They're the two teams that give the Pac-12 any sort of relevancy, and now since they're leaving, the Pac-12 is beginning to show cracks and crevices, and I believe that league is beginning to fall apart. And not only are UCLA and USC moving to the Big Ten conference soon, there also is no immediate media rights deal in place at all. Now the Pac-12 conference media rights and the TV rights, I believe that contract is ending soon now. A while ago, there were reports that all the schools in the Pac-12 had agreed to a new media rights and TV rights package, but it was just an early version of the new media rights, and ever since that news broke, ever since those rumors broke, or actually the news, because it was official, after the news broke that the schools agreed to work together to make a new media rights deal for the conference, there just hasn't been anything that's materialized since the Pac-12 and its members have agreed to try to come up with a new TV package deal and a media rights deal. So, the Pac-12 is in limbo. There's not a certain upcoming media rights deal that will renew in the Pac-12. We don't know what's happening with the media rights going forward with that conference. There hasn't been a new contract that's been finalized with the conference and potential TV channels. And also, like I said, its biggest members are leaving for the Big Ten soon. So that raises questions as to what's happening to the Pac-12. Is the league going to fall apart? Is it going to be able to stay afloat? Is it going to survive within the next 15, 20, 25, 30 years? We don't know. And if you're asking me, if I'm being honest, with everything that's going on in the Pac-12, with the lack of a new media contract and its biggest members leaving, I don't think the Pac-12 will be a league, will be a conference in college football in the next 15 years, maybe even the next 20 years. I believe that the Pac-12 will dissolve by the time the next 20 years roll around. I just think the Pac-12, there's a lot of uncertainty in that league. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of movement in that conference right now. Obviously, UCLA and USC, they moved out. So really, there's just an uncertain future with the Pac-12 conference. And I don't know if the league is going to be able to survive at all. So I think Colorado made the right move by just jumping ship and moving back to where they belong in the Big 12 conference. The Big 12 conference is their home. They should have never left in the first place. From what I read on the internet, the reason why Colorado left the Big 12 back in 2011 was because of the fact that, again, the Big 12's future was uncertain in 2011. And Colorado just didn't agree with the control that the University of Texas had on the Big 12 conference, but that's just from what I read on the internet when researching for why they left the Big 12. But they should have never left the Big 12 at all. And I'm happy that they're going back to the Big 12 conference. I'm really excited for what Colorado's building over there with their football program, and I believe that this move to the Big 12 is just going to make it that much better. Now, the Big 12 that Colorado will be entering is going to be a completely different looking Big 12 from when they left. Obviously, Oklahoma and Texas are not going to be in the Big 12 next season. They're obviously moving to the SEC, and you have the 4 brand new schools that just got added to the Big 12 this season in UCF, BYU, Cincinnati, and Houston. So it's going to be a very different looking Big 12 conference that Colorado is coming into when comparing it to the conference that Colorado left back in 2011. But either way, I'm still really excited for what the future holds at Colorado, and I completely agree with the decision to go back to the Big 12 conference. Like I said, I believe this is where they belong, and I am extremely hyped and excited for Colorado's re-entrance into the Big 12 conference. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Obviously, I'm very optimistic, but I want to know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think this is a good move for Colorado? Do you think it's a bad move? And please tell me why. Please use actual reasoning in the comments below, if you're able to. I really want to get a perspective, a different point of perspective for people who believe that this is a wrong move. But I believe it's a good move, and I'm sure that a lot of other people agree that it is a good move, and that's what we're rolling with. So overall, I think Colorado did a good job here, and I'm extremely excited. So like I said, comment down below, like, share, subscribe, and say hello, do whatever you want in the comment section below. I really don't care. Just like, share, and subscribe on this YouTube video, and on this YouTube channel as well. Subscribe, and let's keep this going, man. I'm very excited for this channel. Obviously I made this video as an emergency type of audio recording, or I'm doing this right now the day after Colorado announced the move to the Big 12. But yeah, man, it's just crazy stuff happening in college football with all the conference realignment, and Colorado's now just played a big factor in that. So like I said, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video, where I will be previewing the Big 12 conference for next season. So take care, everybody, and I'll see you on the flip side.